what do you call it? 宣传材料 for encounters. We're going to be using a lot of a textbook called Encounters because Rui Chen is helping me make a teacher training video that the publisher has been asking us for a long time. So if you don't mind, we're going to be using a lot of encounters the first week only in Japan, okay, and not in Ban. Okay.
这是你写的。
Yes. Joanne was also involved in it. So, some authentic, when you go to Chinatown, you can take some pictures if you want of authentic signs. So you'll see us using this one. This is the introductory lesson, okay? 火山人, this was a real restaurant in Beijing. And so this is a sign for an establishment in Beijing called the Vulcan Bar. Label each of the 3 large characters on the signs. What do you think a mountain of fire means? Suggest a good English term. Okay. So this is a sign for a famous spicy Sichuan dish. The character 煮 means boiled. Circle the radical for this character on the sign. Okay. So you don't have to be able to read the sign, but do something with it. Yeah. So circle the radical. What does a radical mean? What is the main ingredient of the dish? In what has this dish been boiled? Suggest a good English name. Okay, so you can do different things with different signs. Okay, this is 第一课他们学过你我他 and this is a sign on I think Beida campus. So they don't have to read the sign, they just have to circle 你我他. And then the same campus is this black woman, the 母校, circle we. Very simple things you can do with authentic. And this one is a sign. I was waiting for the videographers to finish filming. There was a secretary with this sign on her desk. So I took the picture. And all they have to do is circle 谢谢. And also 请. And this one they can read more stuff. Right? Authentic signs, getting to know you. 你叫什么名字? Where is the 名字? 名字在哪儿? So just circle it. Which one is 电话? Yeah. If you can read 1 or 2 things on an authentic, this is authentic, right? A name card. Okay, so this is from Beijing, so it's in Jianti. This is from Taiwan, so it's in Fanti, right? And so we require our students to read both.
In your school?
Yeah, in this textbook, actually. In its textbook, we require both. Because, huh?
Not summer camp.
Yes,
Oh, okay. Summer camp they have to do both.
do both, because that's authentic. Because when you pick up stuff, if it's from Taiwan, it's Fanti. If it's from Dalu, it's Jianti. You have to read both. Actually, it's very easy reading both. And you'll see that if you students 从头开始就是两种都认的话, it's not a problem. Okay? It's not a problem for the students. Sometimes it's a problem for the teacher. The teacher says, no, you can't do that. But the students, you'll see our students working with that. Okay, again, if it's from, so you have one from Dalu, one from Taiwan, and it's different. So whatever you get is what you have to read. And then we tell them, pick one and write it. Okay? Pick whichever one and write it. That's what it is with native speakers, right? You write one, but you can read both. Right? Actually, only about 20% of the characters are different. The rest are the same. It's not a big deal.
So when we
we do this, when we write a test together with with other teachers, we usually often have a problem, which is the sign will have English. So if we try to keep it authentic, we have to keep the English, but then we lose the points. Just like the other sign, if you go back, it has drinks. Do you keep that, or you use Photoshop to cross the drinks and just keep learning 热饮品?
Well, there is a food court in this mall. Write out the pinyin for the sign. So their attention is drawn to the Chinese, right? 冷热饮品, yeah. Number the English below. Okay, number the English below to indicate the literal meaning of the sign. So drinks does not say 冷热饮品, so they have to number cold, hot drink product.
Okay.
Yeah? So even though there's English, I just got back from Japan, and I remember driving on the highway and you'd see the sign with like 3 lines of Japanese on it. It says something like, road conditions are different, so, in order to keep your life safe, you must be careful. And the English says drive safe. So, you could totally use that, authentic with the English, but then you could still work on the Chinese. Like this one, movie night at Indigo. That's not quite what the Chinese says, right?
There's no indigo.
There's no 硬体缸. It's not. Okay. What does the Chinese tell you that the English does not? Guess the meanings of these 3 phrases. 星空下 beneath the 夏日 during the 电影节 what kind of festival? Right? So if you want to work on translation, I mean, it's really
Do you call those translation? I mean, it's also comprehensible, right? So
yeah.
in order to be comprehensible.
5 native speakers a slip of paper, and I said, write a sentence or 2 describing how you felt when you first arrived in America. No other instructions, right? So what I got back, it's simulated authentic because it's like what they would write on email to a friend or something like that. But I wanted it, so I used all 3 of them. Okay, so the point is, when you first get here, you're excited and 兴奋, and then when you have been here a while, there's some trouble. You don't have this, you don't have that. And then after a while, you get used to it, you can overcome your problems, and then you feel differently. Okay. So this is sort of interesting, I think. Yeah. So this is simulated authentic. Okay. Any feedback? You can take pictures. All the first you took it for, that's fine. So if you take a Coca-Cola picture of a Coca-Cola can, and you're not selling 饮料, that's okay. If the purpose is very different, number 1, you're likely going to be safe. Number 2, if you're not charging for the use of the image, you're probably going to be okay. Number 3, if it's for educational purposes, you're probably going to be okay. So I don't worry about it. 你来告我的话, I'll take it down. But until then, I'm just going to use it. It's called fair use policy. So don't worry about using using images you find online. I train them on tones using 唐诗. So 床前明月光，疑是地上霜. Okay, so we work with that poem a little bit, and then I show them the characters, and I just say circle the two times moon appears. So they circle 月. And then I show them 繁体 and 简体, and I say compare how many are different. 有4个字不一样，举头 举头繁体跟那个简体不一样，低头思故乡的乡也不一样。So there's only 4 characters that are different out of 20. And I say, what percentage is that? They say 20%. And I said, that's about the difference. So many are the same. 你我他那个 it's all the same. 门 is different. But yeah, so it's very emotional for the teachers. 简体 versus 繁体. But it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. And then the second activity we do is 他们学了模拟他我们谢谢再见不用谢没有关系 and then I just put them next 繁体这边简体那边 and tell them match them and not a problem yeah 我你他谢很像谢过去了 so it's very simple so 学生的印象是 what's the problem right?
What about writing?
They pick one and write it, either one. And in the past when I've taught, it's been about half-half for different reasons. Some students want the challenge, 我要繁体 and then some people say, 我要简体 yeah, and then, some students, 我爷爷在台湾 I want to write 繁体 some people say, 我要去中国做登联文献 So let them choose. 反正那个两种都能看
Even for that, I'm very frightened.
So as part of the curriculum here, we have a focus on San in Hawaii. And so this little storybook for the 甲班 我是孙中山 So if you're limited to character counts, right? Sun is not going to be in it. Then I can't teach 孙中山 and then, 美国人叫Washington 国父中国人叫国父 So 国父 is that going to be in your count of first 50 characters? So if you're doing character counts, you're too limited. And, so this is still novice because it's very like word and very simple phrases. And like the novice activities for the election, 美国总统 总统 is definitely not going to be in your first, how many? 500? First count of five.
But the radicals of it.
The radicals are, right. Anyway, but often when I give talks, it's useful to compare. HSK is all about how many characters, right?
Yeah.
Do you see in any of this literature from the US, the standards or the 5 C's or the modes or any of that? Does it say how many? No. Can't. Can't. Nobody's going to tell you what the content. And part of the issue is, have you heard of the 21st century skills? Part of that, part of the precept there is that the content is changing, right? They say a student who's starting college now, by the time he graduates, the technology will have been outdated. We don't know what we're talking about. By the time they graduate and they have to get jobs, they're going to be dealing with technology that we know nothing about. We can't teach them. We can't teach them the content. We can teach them some skills.
Yeah.
How to look for stuff, how to analyze stuff. Yeah. So here, the difference between novice low and novice low and novice mid is about 50, right? About 50 vocabulary is novice low, right? Nobody's going to tell you which 50. We actually paid for this. There's 3,000 articles here. Wow. The chairman's foul. Chinese immersion with graded news, right? So we signed up for this. So in speech, to freely discuss the text, different activities for each one. Right? Yeah. So then we have other. Okay. So this section is on authentic reading text, right? It's an authentic route.
Can you show us one?
Oh, okay. Let's see. Following the Beijing Dream. Okay. 就这么长. It's not terribly long, and then you go to a different place that you can play. I haven't used it for a long while, but so anyway, it's very easy to find. If I can find it, anybody can find it because I'm not very tech savvy. So anyway, has audio text like accompany this. Okay.